to cut everybody off.
Like now.
I don't think that's wild.
Where are we coming up with these questions? Orgy going on? My man, he's a joke.
She aged like cheese.
You got
Speak on it, brother. Speak on it.
Practically become Bruce Wayne.
What we gotta do, Mika?
Push the goddamn button, man.
What up? Ooh. Okay. What up, everybody? What's going on? Sorry for the delay. Give us a few minutes and we gonna be up and running. I know we kind of late tonight, but things happen. So sorry about that. Y'all can go ahead and start getting started in the chat. I don't know what's going on. What's up, Chrissy? What's going on, JJ? How y'all feeling tonight? Man, I was good with this movie until we got to the spiders, man. It was good. We was having a good time. It was a good little action, sci-fi thriller. And then next thing you know, some doggone spiders come out of nowhere. And I was like, nah, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. It's like, nope. Anybody knows me, no, I do not do spiders. Like not even a little bit. Was everybody able to check out the movie? Give me one second. So for some reason, okay, there we go. Let's see here. Okay, bet. Before we go ahead and get started, Funko of the week is no other than Marvel's Space Jesus, aka Adam Warlock. Those of you who are familiar with comics, Adam Warlock is Marvel's Space Jesus, at least that's what they call him. Yeah. It was so the movie was a slow burn. So it was like the beginning of the movie is kind of a slow burn, and they kind of trying to build, I guess, like build character or build a foundation for the movie. But it was definitely a slow burn for me from the start. What's up, brother?
What's happening with your Crody?
And without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the show. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Like, welcome to another episode of Popcorn and Your Beer Podcast. I'm your host, Rashad, aka The Things Dudes Do for Booty.
And I'm gonna double down on that. Last but not least, I am the King MOE, aka the power of the Hoochie Pappy compels you.
Yeah, this whole fiasco.
We have said it before. We've said it time and time. We will say it again. In any movie, regardless to what the movie genre is, no matter who the cast is, no matter what the premise of the movie is, it don't matter if the movie was in the 1800s, the 1900s, or the 2000s. Hoochie Pappy changes everything. Hoochie Pappy changes everything.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
Okay. Waiting on it.
Rashad, you a girl dad, right?
I am.
Duke is a
What's
girl
happening,
dad.
Jay
Right?
Lewis? Yeah, I would say so. I would say all four of us.
All of us girl dad.
Mama.
So what I'm about to say, you might be able to relate to. But
Okay.
if I had twin girls,
Okay.
I would name one Kate.
Okay.
Care to take a guess of what I would name her twin sister? Duplicate.
Okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you did there. It's not like it at all. Let's see what you did there. Wow. Okay. Ladies and
Let's start the
gentlemen,
show.
the Gorge. Two highly trained operatives are appointed to post in guard towers on opposite sides of a vast and highly classified gorge, protecting the world from mysterious evil that lurks within. They work together to keep the secret within the gorge. The movie stars Miles Teller and Miles Teller and why I want to call that girl Catherine Zeta-Jones. That ain't her
Joy.
name.
What's her name? Joy.
No, it's God, dog, I can't speak today. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I knew Joy was somewhere in there.
Anya Taylor-Joy, and also Sigourney Weaver as the mastermind behind what's going on in the gorge. So the movie kicks off with Anya Taylor-Joy sitting inside of some kind of enclosure, checking off a box. She has, 4 boxes or something like that? She has a set of boxes on the wall that she is checking off. Now, as she checks off this box, a plane starts to land at an airstrip, what I'm guessing. And she peeks her head outside of like the undercover from where she's at. A person is getting off the plane, and then boom, headshot. That's how the movie starts off. So already you can tell she's some sort of assassin, sniper, what have you. You don't actually get to the gorge until we are introduced to Miles Teller's character. Levi Kane. That sounds like a very military name, militant name, or whatever. So he has been chosen by Sigourney Weaver's character to go to be a guard at the gorge. Now, you know, he gets this rundown of what's going on. We get this rundown with Anya Taylor-Joy's character, with her father, or what have you. And the movie is kind of a slow burn. By the way, Sigourney Weaver's character is named Bartholomew. Anyway,
That is, yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So
Miles Teller, aka
Yeah.
Levi, gets what's up?
no, I was just going to piggyback off of what you were saying, because basically the introduction to Dresa,
Yeah, I'll watch it.
was her catching a body. She was pretty much staked out in the woods. A private jet lands on the landing strip. Some important guy gets off the plane. I'm talking about the stairs hadn't been on the ground all in 10 seconds. And he stepped off the plane, boom, headshot, out of there. And then there's a brief conversation with her and her father, which is very like touching and very personal. And his whole energy was, he was the conversation, but he made the conversation feel like this was going to be his last conversation with his daughter. And he was pretty much trying to prepare her for it. Like he knew his time was coming. This is going to be your last time seeing me. And then we get into Levi's character, which his pickup by Bartholomew's company is a little bit more in depth than hers was. I don't even think it showed hers, as a matter of fact. So they scoop him up. They take him to meet Bartholomew, and she pretty much is like, I know who you are. I'm aware of your past as far as your skill set when you was in the military. That's why we chose you. We're going to fly you down to the job site, and there's going to be somebody there to brief you. And he gets there, and there's a black dude named JD at the tower on the west side. Because it's a tower on the west side, it's a tower on the east side. Now, Dresa is already at the tower on the east side. So when Levi gets to the tower on the west side, JD is there, and JD is pretty much giving him the rundown on this is the meaning of the tower. You got all the weapons, ammunition you need. We got drones, we got turrets, we got XYZ, this, that, and third, boom, boom, boom. They do an annual rotation. So you're pretty much going to be in this tower for the next 365 days, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to holler at you. So he leaves, pops smoke for the helicopter to come pick him up. The helicopter picks him up. And before he lets him on the helicopter, he says, I need you to identify yourself. And he does. But then the guy on the helicopter was like, thank you for your service. Wow. Point blank range, right between the eyes. Cuts his cord, drops him in the forest. So in my mind, I'm thinking, so every year when they do the rotation, do they clap the person who just came off the rotation?
Every single year. And it's basically because if you are stationed at this post, you know exactly what's going on in the gorge, because every now and then the creatures come up from the gorge, because you have to not only defend the gorge, you have to make all the repairs. There's nobody coming to you. Helicopters don't even land close to you. You have to go somewhere out far. So when you get to the gorge, you're either protecting the gorge. If something goes down where creatures come up, you have to defend the gorge. You basically have to tend for yourself, do everything for yourself. You get injured, you have to fix yourself. Nobody's coming to help you. Like they have like communications every now and then just to figure out what's going on. But at the end of the day, you are by yourself on your side. The other person is by themselves on their side.
They got the scheduled radio check-ins and
correct.
all
And
this other jazz.
which was a funny thing because I know we'll get to that part, but when they fall down in the gorge, I know they go radio silent for a while. So I don't know if that's why I don't know if that's why it kind of got ticked off. I know they said that the computers came online and all the other stuff, but you know, whatever. So they're there for man, my allergies, bro. I'm still trying to. I took some earlier, so I'm in and out.
I get it.
Yeah, bro.
Anthrax is fucked up. So the first night, Levi's first night there, he's waking up in the middle of the night by very loud thunder and lightning. And when he goes out to the porch, we'll call it, he doesn't necessarily see anything. He goes back to sleep. Gets up the next day. He's looking through his binoculars and he sees Dreza on her tower.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their initial, oh shit, you're the person on that tower, I'm the person on this tower. They have these very large notepads, like oversized notepads with Sharpies. And initially that's how they began communication with each other, where she wrote, "What is your name?" And he wrote back, "We not supposed to be in contact."
Right.
So then she writes, "It's my birthday. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want." So initially, this is how they're communicating. They're writing stuff on the pad. They're looking through the binoculars and reading, and they're pretty much just writing each other back and forth. So in mid-conversation, Dreza's like, "Hey, look down."
Mm-hmm.
And the swamp people was crawling up the wall, which JD had briefed him. He was like, "Hey, there's all kind of weird shit down there in that gorge, and some parts of the wall they like to climb up." So the thing about operating in these two towers is you have to be able to help each other. You know what I'm saying? So if the creatures are crawling up the west wall, the person on the east tower is shooting everything down on the west wall, and vice versa.
All right.
So,
but you also have like the sensors as well, because you have
with the auto
the sensor, the sensor cannons as well,
and those bombs that's hanging and shit.
Yeah.
But then there was a part where he tilted the turret all the way down at a 90-degree angle. So I'm like, okay, so if he did have to shoot stuff off of his own wall, he can do that. I'm like, all right, cool. Because in my mind, I'm thinking sooner or later he's going to make his way to the other tower, and they're only going to be able to defend one tower. But that's a little bit later on down the line. So the east is shooting to the west side, the west is shooting to the east side. There was a pretty dope aerial shot of all of the turrets, like shooting across the gorge and clearing everything off the walls and shit. I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty dope. I don't know. So,
what are you talking about that? Like, I thought like the action scenes in this were like really good. You know, only like big issue I had was like the CGI. It looked choppy a lot, and like even like the creatures, like it felt like they were trying to give off that that I Am Legend creature, like those type of creatures, but I don't know, like the twigs or something like comical. Like it didn't look horrifying. Like some of it did, because like there was some stuff that we'll talk about when they get down in the gorge, but for the most part, like the creatures just didn't look terrifying.
Well, and that's not even a bad thing, to be honest with you, because they looked at the
Bro, you almost, bro, your tongue almost slipped up. Right?
they looked disgusted. But anywho, so boom, the ops try to climb the walls, and they pretty much cleared the set. You live to fight another day. So they continue communicating back and forth. She was like, she started playing some music and dancing. She was like, "Hey, Levi, show me your moves." He was like, "I can't dance, cuz." And they talking back and forth, this, that, and third. Well, if you can't dance, what are you good at? He was like, "I'm a good shot." She was like, "Bet, I got this drink right here. Bet you can't hit the bottle." You know what I'm saying? They playing chess back and forth. I mean, they just having a grand old time.
They going on long distance dates.
Long distance relationship, but can see each other with binoculars. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a day in February, around Valentine's Day, where Dreza is emotionally overwhelmed because she's thinking about her father.
Mm-hmm.
So Levi was like, "Hey, I didn't see you on patrol today. What's wrong?" And she was like, I don't remember what she wrote word for word, but it was along the lines of, I wish you were here with me somehow. And that's when he was like, "Oh, hoochie pappy, let me start building hella contraptions, because now I'm going to find a way to get my ass over there." This nigga built a damn,
I don't even know what that was.
What the hell they call this shit? But anyway, this man went and found all kinds of tools and supplies and resources and jump rope and rocket launchers. And he said, "Hey, I'm pulling up on." She said, "Pull up on me." He said, "I'm pulling up on." And then so he makes the contraption, he shoots it across. Boom. Everything is good. There's fire coming from the shell casing of the missile that he took the explosive mechanism out of. So I'm like, that's not good. The force is gonna catch on fire. She's on it. She runs, she grabs the fire extinguisher, she's frolicking to the place where
doing parkour.
You know what I'm saying? And he starts running to do the zip line, and I'm like, this nigga's not running fast at all. He gonna get stuck halfway.
Yeah, so that was my thing, because I was like, unless he's doing this on an angle, like I don't really think he's gonna stop eventually. It was either, I was thinking to myself, either he gonna stop eventually and get stuck, or he's like one of the creatures is gonna jump up or something crazy.
And I was like, yep, push come to shove, he's not gonna make it all the way across. Like, he's gonna
but before that happened, there was a rocket. I mean, not a rocket, but some kind of drone that came out after I think like the big fight.
And he was basically ziplining himself down and replacing one of those hanging bombs that blew up.
Right.
So he takes
they never go back to it though.
Right. You only and while he's suspended after he replaced the bomb, this random drone just comes up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking face to face at it. Dreza's looking at it through the sniper rifle, like, okay, if this shit gets stupid, I'm blowing it up.
Right.
And it did like some lights was flickering on it and whatever. And then the wings came out and it just took off.
Yeah. And we never go back to it. I was like, that was kind of weird.
You never see it again. They never talk about it again. Bartholomew.
Well, he talks about it. he talks about it when she was questioning him about the movement and stuff, but it wasn't nothing.
Yeah. But then
Also,
so
you feel
eventually
the
he makes it.
runtime on this movie. Like
It was like
you
2
really
hours.
feel the runtime. Like if it was maybe like 15 to 30 minutes shorter, like even 20 minutes, like you probably wouldn't feel as bad. But like they pad the runtime so much with this love story as well as what's going on in this gorge, and then finding out the what's going on behind the gorge. So it's like a lot going on, and they just it just pads the runtime, and like you kind of feel it. And I don't know if it's that you feel it in the beginning because to get to the point where they are, or is it just feels long. But yeah, go ahead, man.
But basically, he makes it across, and they finally get to meet each other face to face. You know what I'm saying? And they're flirting with each other right off rip.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "I brought you flowers." She was like, "You stink."
Yeah, basically.
You smell like yesterday. Go take a shower. And then she was like, "Go take a shower in the bathhouse. I'm gonna get you some clothes that came from my predecessors." Translation: Go take a shower. I'm gonna have an outfit for you on the dead homies.
Hey, bro, can you imagine?
On the dead homies?
Can you imagine zip lining across a dangerous gorge for this girl just because she needs some company and she really needs love and affection, and the first thing that she says to you is,
"Nigga, you
dang,
stink.
you stink.
You smell terrible." And mind you, to the 5 people in the chat, if you have not seen this movie, if I had to give an educated guess on the distance from the East Tower to the West Tower,
it's a minute.
Would you say bigger or smaller than the length of a football field?
Oh, it's definitely bigger than a football field.
Longer than a football field. I say maybe a football field. So that's what, 150 yards, 120 yards?
Something like that.
Which just saying 120 yards, it doesn't sound like a lot. But when you get a chance to watch the movie, it's like
if you've ever ran 120 yards, you know what 120 yards is.
You feel.
But
so
but
she
no,
was like, "Yeah, go ahead and take a shower. I got some clothes for you on the dead homies."
It was just her saying, like, "Yo, bro, you kind of funky, ain't you?"
200 yards at least. Okay, we'll go with 200.
It was a distance. It was a
2
distance.
football fields. We'll go 200.
But also, you can tell it's like she was happy to see him. Like you can tell, but they had built up this chemistry where she was able to say, like, "Yo, hey, you need to hit the shower," you know what I'm saying, before we interact, you know what I'm saying? Because like even when he was in the shower, like she was getting excited and everything that it was playing.
And then she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put his clothes way over here, so he got to run naked to get his
Pretty
clothes."
much.
But the thing is, before he went across, remember what she did whenever she needed to get his attention very quickly.
Oh, she shot the pistol.
Warning shot.
Yeah.
She shot the warning shot when she noticed that the group niggas was crawling up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when she thought he was cheating in chess, she was like,
Yeah. Well, I don't think that she thought he was cheating.
The rook to the knife.
She didn't do the move that he wanted her to do or something like that.
But she was like, "Pow, hold up now. No, because hey, that's not the move I made now."
Right.
But yeah, they clearly were remotely attracted enough to each other for her to even allow him to come over there, because when she
don't even
seen
think-
him building everything, she could have wrote on a piece of paper, "Hey, stay over there, cuz."
but think about it though. Like at one point, like they tell you love you. They love like I love you. Like I forgot when he's getting ready to go back. They say that because like I think this is where like the runtime kind of gets a little padded. Where they're doing their whole like relationship montage or whatever, where they're building and spending time with each other.
Yeah, because he gets over there, he takes a shower, they sit down to eat. She made this nigga some rabbit pie. What the fuck is rabbit pie? Anyway, and then she playing music and she dancing, and they dancing with each other, and I'm like,
she done slow dance on
now, wait, before I skip this detail, because the very first thing they did was sat down and had dinner with each other after he got out the shower.
Right.
And he was like, and this might have been the most realistic conversation they ever had. But he was like, you know what I think about every single night when I stand on that platform? She was like, what, how you gonna get in my pants? And he couldn't even cap. He couldn't even cap.
That's good.
He was like, hey, you said it. Because I ain't gonna lie. First time I saw you with them tight black joints on.
What's up, Key?
But yeah, she one of them girls where she not that cute, but she got the kind of eyes where she look at you a certain way. It's like, bro.
I don't know. I always thought like I think Bryce. I mean, I was about to call this lady Bryce Dills Howard. I think bro, I'm struggling. Bro. These men's got me struggling.
Yo, man, look.
I don't know why her and Bryce Dallas Howard like got me like kind of mixed up, but because it's the three name thing. Anna Taylor Joy. So, she looks like a deer almost, like a fawn. I don't know why she looks like that when I look at her face, but I think it might be the eyes. But they have this meaningful interaction together, and like you can really tell like they built the kind of chemistry over the time that they've been there, because obviously it's been months, because you said December came up, then February. So they spent a good amount of time getting to know each other from across the gorge. So when he's getting ready to go back, it's like, hey man, you're gonna get a call or something like this, so pay attention to this. Is what's going on.
And the crazy part about it, he was over there for a couple of days.
Right, so he was over there for a while. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he missed his check-in, but you don't really know.
He did.
So he
goes over there. They eat dinner. They dance the night away. She gives him the cheeks. And then, you know what I'm saying, they land on the porch, cuddling with each other and going on and doing this and that and blah, blah, blah.
All right.
So then a couple of days later, he was like, we got radio check-in tomorrow.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to get back over there.
Well, he still had the thing. So he gets on the pulley, they kiss, they have their little moment. And he's flying across. And in my head, I'm just like, somebody happened. Yep, something happened with him going across. Somebody happened now. So immediately you hear as
he was going back across, the swamp niggas was climbing up the wall. One of them hits the bomb. The bomb blows up, snaps the zip line. He falls into the gorge. She goes, grabs an AK-47, M16, whatever it was, puts on a parachute, jumps down, goes in after.
I don't think she realized. I think what it is, I don't think they realized the depth of the lack of in the gorge. So
there's no way for them to tell.
She automatically hits water. So like she goes down and she can't pull her parachute fast enough because she goes from out of the smoke and immediately hits water. And I know that water stunk. It looked like it stank. That water smelled like it smelled like the garbage can behind a McDonald's. Like I just know that water was funky. So she
Big
hits the
funky.
water. She hits the water. He's in a tree. So she gets out of the water. He's in a tree and
Hanging upside
gets
down,
himself
unconscious.
down because there's a centipede or something like that right above him getting ready to
A
eat him.
big
And
ass.
this is where the creepy part of this movie comes into place because the little monster things I really didn't care about. But bugs, giant bugs, no, absolutely not. Don't
Which
worry about it.
later on in the movie, it is explained what kind of creatures they are dealing with. But initially, like Rashad said, she makes it out of the water. She regains her bearings. She got, you know what I'm saying, got the M16. He's unconscious, hanging upside down in a tree, where this human-sized centipede-looking thing was like, "Oh, word, bet I'm about to go eat this food." So the sound of the thing crawling down the tree just happens to wake him up.
That's how you know that.
Grabs,
That's how you know it's big, bro. If it's making that much noise, they know it.
he grabs his sidearm, pop a couple shots in it, and get himself out the tree. Nigga falls down, almost knocks himself back out, falling out of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow ends up laying inside of some kind of Venus flytrap looking
Sticky glue, yeah. And
like
it automatically says lunchtime, and it's literally going. My skin started crawling as these finger-like teeth started to enclose around his body, and next thing you know, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, what is his name? Drizzy. Drizzy comes from around the corner and just starts firing off on this thing, and it kind of retracts. So she's able to get him up out of there, and they're standing around. They like, "Yo, what is this?
Like
What is going on?
What the hell is even that?"
And they start looking around and realizing that these creatures just start bomb rushing them. Because they don't make it to the building until after their first encounter with the creatures, right?
Riding a horse, it was two of them.
Yeah, riding a horse that looked like they were connected. It looked like a centaur or a centaur, whatever that thing is.
If Groot had an evil twin, that's what the boys look like.
Yeah. So they done finally fought them off, and they get to this building. Now, in this
I think
building,
it was
a church or something like that.
It was a church.
In the church, they start to find more answers. So I don't think the lab was in the church, or was it below the church?
It was. They left the church.
They left the church.
The lab was below.
The lab was below. Okay, yeah.
So to go to the church, I know the church scene freaked you out because of the spikes.
Brother, I was trying to skip it. Let's skip it. Skip it. Skip it. Skip.
All I'm gonna say is them spiders look like they came from Century.
Stop saying the word. Stop saying the word. Mm-mm.
So they managed to shoot their way out of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, hey, you know what I'm saying, we got to keep moving. This, that, and third, boom, boom, boom. So they're walking through the forest where Draza finds like a small book bag. She picks it up, and it's a trap, a rope attaches to her leg, sweeps her up. It's another group on the horse nigga, and it's dragging her through the forest. She trying to shoot her. She trying to shoot him. She can't shoot him. She had a knife in her boot. She was trying to cut the rope. And I think right before she was about to get out of the rope, it was like a broken tree stump sticking out. Right in the forehead, knocks her out cold.
Hold this second.
Whole time, Levi's on foot trying to run her down. So the horseman gets away with Drazer, and Levi sees this giant cloud of smoke coming out of a hole in the ground. So he gets to the hole in the ground, and it's like a giant tunnel that goes like multiple stories down and further into the ground.
All right.
So before he makes it down there, it fast forwards to Drazer is bound by rope, got her hanging, and she ends up in a 1v1 with Groot's evil big brother.
Mm-hmm.
And she was holding her own. You know what I'm saying? He had a sword and everything. Like, she was really squaring up with Buddy. Right. Levi finally makes it down there, claps him up. So the one thing that Levi noticed from the first two horsemen that they squared up with to even the one that he just rescued Drazer from was they had on uniforms from the United States military.
Right.
And what he noticed was the uniforms were as old as the 1940s. So right. The one that he clapped, that was 1v1 with Drazer, he was like, this was the soldier that named these creatures the Hollow Men.
Right.
So from there, they find the lab. They notice it's a backup generator. It's powered by propane. Propane doesn't expire. They cut everything on. They find this old reel-to-reel. They put the reel on there. They hook it up. They cut the video on, and it's a female scientist. And she was like, today's July 12th or something, 1946. Mm-hmm. And she's basically explaining that there's a toxin in the gorge that is causing human DNA to merge with plants and vegetation, which explains why these like creatures look the way they do, because they're merging with the trees and the branches and the vegetation and everything around them.
All right.
Not only humans, but bugs as well. That's why the bugs are mutated. And she was like, this toxin, once a human is infected by this toxin, they start mutating after 5 days. So,
wait. So then, if that's the case, like, how do you get infected with this virus? Like, is it something that's ingested? Like, is it a smell? Because if it's a smell, then
so
because I don't remember saying that part.
They did say, no, the lady in the video said that the toxin is in the, no, she didn't say. Levi, based on what the lady said the toxin was in the fog. So it had to be in like a thick smoke or a thick fog. It wasn't just, in like the general breathing space, but if you got close enough to the fog or the smoke, that's where the toxin was. If you ingested it,
so they didn't go through that.
You would begin mutation in minimum 5 days. I'm assuming they didn't. How? I don't know.
Okay.
So now they're to a point where they now have an explanation on what these creatures are, why they look the way they look, because human DNA is merging with the plants. That's why they look like that. And they're like, okay, now that we know this, we need to hurry up and make our way out of here before we get infected. So this is where they now have to go back to the bottom of the silo, I guess is what you could call it. and make their way back up and out. But before they can do that, they have to walk across a very thin walkway that is infested with these
creatures.
mucus looking
Creatures.
I really don't know how to describe these words. Like
I guess you could call them creatures, man. I don't know.
and they're the kind of creatures where unless you come in contact with them, they don't bother you. So of course, predictability, I'm thinking how much you want to bet they're going to get within like 5 steps of getting across this walkway before they start getting attacked by all these snot monsters. And that's exactly what happens. Because right before they was able to get off, there was this big fat ass, heavy mouth breathing one at the very end, barely taking up half the walkway. Drazen steps on it, sticky. She trips, falls into one. Now they got to shoot themselves out of that. But then they managed to get out. They get out. They find a shed that has some old military jeeps in them. So he was like, bet, I got a plan. We're going to take this jeep. We're going to try to find the zip line that snapped when I was trying to go back across. Use the winch from the jeep. We're going to take that zip line that goes to, because he was on the west side, or was she on the west side? He was on the west side. He was like, we're gonna take the zip line, we're gonna tie it into the winch on the Jeep to take us back up to the west side. But of course, we know that it's gonna be one of those. It's just like in a video game. You get to that elevator, you get to that lifting mechanism. It's gonna go super hell slow, and you're gonna have to fight hell of niggas on the way up. And that's just like what happened.
Yep. They get back to the top. And I think, is this where like the little sensors start going off? Or do the sensors not go off? Because that's what's crazy about it. If the sensors don't go off, that's kind of insane.
So they managed to get back to the top. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was once they made it back to the top. But
I think they started revising a plan to get up out of there. Because he was like,
she was talking about going to France.
Yeah.
So later on that night, Levi does a radio check-in with Bartholomew. And Bartholomew was like, hey, how you doing? He was like, shit, I'm cool. She was like, you know what kind of work I do up here? He was like, shit, it kind of get you paid real good. And then she was like, quick question. Have you noticed any movement from your counterpart on the east side? He lied.
He was a terrible liar. Lied like a child. What?
He was like, nah.
Oh, man. No, I don't know nothing about that.
And then she was like, are you sure? Because sensor XYZ detected movement. And he was like, I mean, you did. There was a random ass drone over here earlier. You feel me? I figured you had something to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, you feel me? And then she was like, okay, so here's the thing. The sensor that went off was down in the gorge. So
the computer came
if
up.
You didn't have nothing to do with that, it had to be your counterpart on the east side because y'all are the only two people out
there. And I need you to kill him.
So this is what we're going to do. I need you to neutralize your counterpart. All
right, cool.
Take out the game. He was like, all right, consider it done. So then Bartholomew's people was like, well, shit, you think we still need to pull up on him? And then she was like, yeah, we might as well, because if I got
because
to
he lying. She said because he's lying. He been compromised. He been compromised.
Levi Kane has been
he done got some hoochie pappy. So we gotta go ahead and get him up out there.
We gotta pull up on him. So the two that was out on patrol.
Well, they had already set up the things before that. Like they had already set up the damn. They already set up the explosions for the
cloakers.
For the cloakers, yeah.
So they were talking back and forth because, matter of fact, before he tried to go back across, before the explosion snapped his zip line, she was like, don't say goodbye. I don't want to hear you say that. He was like, that's not what I was going to say. She was like, well, what was you going to say? He was like, what I was going to say was, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fall into the gorge. She goes after her man because he done told her he loved her. So now she, my man, I got to go down there and save him. So when they was on patrol, after Bartholomew gave Levi instructions to take Dreza out the game, she writes on the notepad, I love you back.
Mm-hmm.
Then they hear helicopters in the distance because, as a matter of fact, when they was down at the lab, that's when they discovered we're not working for the military.
Mm-mm.
We're working for some random conglomerate that, for whatever reason, they trying to keep tabs on everything that's going down here. Because even Bartholomew told Levi, she was like, we're trying to gather information and intel so that we can become the strongest army in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can become unbeatable. And on one side, he's looking like, okay, I get that. But on the other side, he's looking like, you're trying to form the most unbeatable army in the world, but you only got 2 people out here. 2.
Right.
Guarding an area this big.
Right.
With shit that's down there. Had we not went down there, we don't know what the fuck is down there. Had we not fell down there. You feel me? It just seems unrealistic. Like, why wouldn't you have an army of people guarding an area this large and you don't even know what or how much of what is even down there? Because we can't even see down there because everything is covered by a cloud of smoke. We can only see what comes out or tries to come out.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So the helicopters come and they start running. So they go to the towers. Neither one of them were there. So Buddy was like, hey, Bartholomew, what you want us to do? She was like, hey, Grand Theft Auto, they now have a 5-star rating. Throw everything we got. Fuck it. I don't even care. It's not even about them being alive anymore. Just take them out of the game. So they got these drones with these machine guns on them. They picking them off left and right. And then after they clear all the drones, they both get to a vantage point where Levi has a clear shot on the cloaker on her side of the mountain and vice versa. So they blow the cloakers up. And they pretty much destroy all the satellites, all that shit. So beginning of the movie, when Levi was being briefed by JD, he told him, he said, look, they got this break glass, they got this break glass in case of emergency procedure called Stray Dog. I don't know what it is. All I know is
if you hear it, you better run.
You better run like hell. So after Levi and Dreza take out the cloakers and the satellites, Bartholomew looked at Buddy and was like, you know what time it is, right? Get Stray Dog on these niggas.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Stray Dog is, they use the same missile that they tried to blow up Godzilla with. And we're just going to nuke the entire gorge. Fuck studying what's in it. Fuck studying the gorge. Fuck whatever information, whatever intel we've gathered up to this point.
Everything gotta go.
The gorge is now compromised. We have no weapons or no surveillance online to track anything that comes out of it. So now we just gotta blow up the whole shit. So boom, they dropped the bomb. Draza is far enough from the explosion where she's not affected by it. Bartholomew and her crew try to get away from it in the helicopter. The blast claps the helicopter, takes them out the game. During the drone fight, Levi caught one in the leg. So he's running through the forest on one leg. The blast knocks him into the river. Draza gets away. So Draza gets away. She's counting down the days in the little cave that she's staying in. She counts her 5 days for her quarantine. She doesn't mutate at all. Somehow she finds her way to France, like they talked about. And who pops up at the diner she's working at? This nigga. Reunited, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
They hug, they kiss.
Movie up. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I still felt it was a bit long. They could have took out, some parts.
The problem was, because I agree with you, I do fucks with the action scenes. CGI aside, quality of CGI aside, I actually fucks with the action scenes. I feel like the movie seemed like it was as long as it was because there wasn't enough action. I feel like the gorge was so big, there should have been way more creatures down. There should have been.
It felt like it was what, like 10?
Like you remember that last gunfight in the Edge of Tomorrow? How it just seemed like they were just spawning out of nowhere. Like that part of the movie made you feel like they don't have enough ammunition for the amount of creatures that's out. Like
there were more monsters on the wall than there were in the actual gorge.
I never once got the feel that they're outnumbered to a point where they're going to run out of ammunition and not have enough gunpowder to fight them to shoot themselves out of the situation. I never got that feeling.
So is it that they were doing this experiment since 1946? So you really don't know how many creatures, it was
since
and whatever.
The 40s, because they said it was post World War II.
I know you got to do like character development so you care about the characters and all this, but I feel like in this instance where it's the sci-fi thriller, I think you would have been okay with leaving out some of the love parts, and like I know it kind of spoke more so to their characters of looking for companionship, because both of them was basically like, yo, I ain't got nothing to hold on to.
Right. So that part makes sense.
It just,
I don't have nobody, you don't have nobody. We essentially only have each other. Let's make some kind of connection. Cool. I don't have no issue with that whatsoever. But reading the wiki for this movie, it starts off with 2 highly trained operatives. Right. So I'm thinking, okay, of course shit's going to hit the fan. Of course everything is going to go wrong. I want to see, the movie has to put them in a position to show how highly trained they really are.
Yeah, you want to see some like when she jumps off the gorge, like if she's connected to a cable to swing and like shoot people. Like you want to see some like some action, like seeing some fight scenes. Yeah, I think that would have helped.
To be 007, I expect her to be Tomb Raider.
Yeah. I think it would have benefited from a little bit more of that. And like I said, I don't think it was a terrible movie. Like I actually enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
I probably give it like a 3 out of 5. Um, just based off of like the action scenes, like you said, CGI aside, like the action scenes kept you into the movie. Like that's what I said. Like I was, like when I put in like the Discord, like we were watching the movie, I'm like, all right, it's kind of a slow burn, and then like next thing you know, like Buddy gets shot on the helicopter, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, some
didn't
action.
see that
You know what I'm
coming.
saying? Something. So, so as it progresses, like it's like that happens, then it kind of slows down again, and then it's like boom, the night happens where she's like, look down, creatures are coming, so that spikes it again. Then it slows down for them to have this love scene, and it spikes back up for them to go into the gorge, and it just kind of felt like it dragged a little bit. Um, like the last half of the movie wasn't bad, and then you get to like the ending, but that part wasn't bad. It was just like the constant spikes between like the movie flatline and like the action. So I definitely give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's a movie that you can watch, if it comes on like streaming or something like that. Like if it went to the movies, I wouldn't recommend nobody go out and spend money to see this, but I think it was a good like, action sci-fi thriller for like streaming.
Yeah, I give it a I I give it a good solid 3. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm a fan of Anya Taylor Joy. I had seen her in a few things prior to this, so seeing her casted in this movie, I knew she was going to do a good job.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a 3 is not bad. I give it a good solid 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would definitely. I feel like this is gonna be one of them ones where after Duke and Ken watch it, if they do, they're probably gonna hit one of us up and be like, man, I wish I would have been there for that review. I mean, it was a good solid movie. I'm not gonna lie. Was
Yeah.
there room for improvement? It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. No, but it was a good solid movie. I mean, so far, as far as 2025 releases are concerned, up to this point,
Yeah, it's probably the best one that we've seen.
this is top 3 so far
Yeah,
in
because
2025. I
I
can't.
don't I don't remember. I'm trying to think if we had like a good movie like this 2025 so far. I can't think of one. Um,
Which reminds me, I gotta update the watch list in the Discord.
cause yeah, it, um, cause I'm trying to think like we haven't um we haven't done I don't know, 2025 has been like a slow like year, man. Duplicity was a 2025 movie. Uh think that might be it, man. Oh, Back in Action was 2025. Um Den of Thieves 2 was 2024.
I
Was
think
Carry On 2025 or 20
I think Trap was 2024.
Adopted was 2025. Um, that was it. Yeah. So we really haven't had any movies like Adopted. Um, what's the one with Jamie Foxx?
Back in
That
Action.
one, Back in Action, Duplicity, and then this. So we haven't discussed many 2025 movies. So
Ain't
that's
much to
kind of it
discuss.
kind of speaks to a lot of like the decline of like a lot of like good cinema around this time. Um,
I don't know. I feel like maybe 2025 is gonna be
it might be a summer year. It
real
might be a summer year.
heavy second half of the year.
Yeah,
Because
because
right
this
now,
first,
I mean, it ain't.
I mean, there's movies out that we could talk about. They just haven't been good, man. Like, there's been a few uh that we'll probably get to.
So
we'll definitely get with y'all.
We got the last pod of the month this Sunday, and then Tuesday, April 1st, will be suggestion of the month. So you still got time to go
We
to
might
the
do Saturday.
your beard. Huh?
We might do Saturday. I said we might do Saturday, yeah. Instead of Sunday, we might do Saturday. Just to give us a little time between Tuesday and the show on the weekend. So we'll see. Definitely gonna look for something new. If anybody has any suggestions on anything new that has come out in 2025 that we might have missed, let us know. I'm usually on top of a lot of stuff. I'm dealing with these allergies right now, and it's not fun. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just clumps of pollen just everywhere. So we're fighting that. But we appreciate y'all coming on with us again. Sorry for the tardiness. We definitely appreciate y'all coming through and sticking with us, comments and being in the comments. Thank you, everybody that stopped through. Chrissy, JJ, J. Lewis, Kiana, we appreciate y'all so much. Definitely shout out to our counterparts that can be here tonight. I want to send much love to all of them. And yeah, we'll be back with y'all on either Saturday or Sunday. We'll let y'all know going forward. But we love y'all very much, and we will holler at y'all later. It's been another episode of the Popcorn in Your Beard podcast. I'm your host, Rashad.
And last but not least, I am the King MOE, aka the power of the Hoochie Pappy compels you.
Dudes do anything
to build a grappling hook to travel 200 yards
over a dangerous gorge that you don't know what's in the gorge.
And she made sure him doing all that was well worth it.
Absolutely.
So shout out to her for not letting him fly her out and then being like, nah, I ain't doing shit.
Getting the flu that's crazy. But we'll catch y'all next time right here on the Popcorn in Your Beard podcast. Peace.
Before to cut everybody off.
Like now.
That's wild, bro.
Where are we coming up with these questions? Orgy going on? My man, he's a joke.
She aged like cheese.
You got
Speak on it, brother. Speak on it.
Practically become Bruce Wayne.
What we gotta do, Mika?
Push the goddamn button, man.